My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We got a lot to cover today. Oh boy, do we have a lot to cover today. Okay. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. It is almost time. Okay. Got to set up a couple things. Okay. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and man, oh man, do we have a lot to cover today. We're going to be on the radio live in just a couple of short minutes, and of course, I want to talk about the speech last night. And I get President Trump's speech, which was perfect and amazing. And I'm going to ask you guys this question, and I want to hear your calls on the air about it. Did any of you, yes or no, did you cry? Did you cry? Yes or no? Because I did. I mean, I couldn't believe how much I was crying during that speech. Just checking the phone lines. Okay. Okay. Always check the lines before I go live. Okay, so we'll be live in 3 minutes. We'll be on the radio. So yes or no, did you cry at all during President Trump's speech? I did, and by the end, I mean, oh, it was, I know, it was something else, wasn't it? It was just something else. I believe that was the greatest speech ever given by a president of the United States. Not just to Congress, I mean ever. That was the greatest speech a president of the United States, in my opinion, has ever given. And I'll stand by that. My eyes are still feeling the effects of crying, because how could you not? And if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls in a few minutes. We'll be live on the radio in less than 2 minutes. And I will take your calls. And this is some moment. This is really a moment. It is amazing. You know, it was not only, in my opinion, the greatest speech a president has ever given. It was, and I mean that by far. It's also a speech that the country needed. We needed that one. Someone said, "Proud to be an American." Yeah, I mean, you know, what I put in the thumbnail for the YouTube. You know, in the thumbnail it says "America is back." That's what the president said. He said, "America is back," and It was right in the beginning. And as soon as I heard that, I knew that's what I was going to put in my YouTube thumbnail because I think that really sums it up. And when we'll be live in 50 seconds, I'm going to give my take on the speech, but I don't see how these Democrats could look at themselves in the mirror when they won't stand for a little boy with cancer and brain cancer. Oh my goodness. I mean, how could that upset someone? If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I broadcast a radio show on 8 FM radio stations in Morning Drive, and we're going to be live in 20 seconds on the radio. Coffee's still a little too hot to drink. I got a brand new microphone arm here, which is the best microphone arm I've ever had. It is so good. Here we go. 3. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. Was President Trump's speech last night not the best speech you've ever seen? Not just by President Trump, but any president ever. And I don't mean just an address to Congress. I mean in general, anywhere. I say yes, by far. And I'm going to tell you right out the box, I was bawling my eyes out throughout that speech. I got up, as I do early in the morning. You guys know I get up early. I watched the president's speech this morning. And the reason I did that is I usually do. When there's a major speech given late at night by President Trump, I watch it in the morning because, well, 9 o'clock, I got to be going to sleep around 9 o'clock to be here live and energized and everything at 6 a.m. But I like it. It's not so much that is I want the speech fresh in my mind, and so I can not just share my thoughts fresh about it, but also share my emotional reaction. I don't think I have cried that much as an adult, except maybe at a funeral. Maybe. I mean, I of course, they were happy tears for the most part. Sometimes they weren't. But I was bawling my eyes out, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it, and I know I'm not alone, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Not only was that the greatest speech that any president ever gave, it was a speech that this great country and the world needed. There's a video going viral on X right now out of England. It's a video inside of Parliament, and the British Prime Minister and Parliament are doing a Ramadan something or other, and they're playing Ramadan music inside Parliament. And this is going viral on X, and what's going viral about it is people are saying this: England has fallen without a military invasion. And that's true. England has fallen without any invasion whatsoever. And I don't know how many Americans, maybe you all realize, but I don't know how many Americans truly realize how close the United States came to falling with these Democrat wokesters. Now, I'm not going to go through a Hannity list of everything, but this country had been taken over in the last 4 years by corrupt public officials who take bribes, and what they sell, President Trump's made his money selling golf club memberships, selling hotel rooms and stuff. These people that have been running the country the last 4 years, they don't have anything to sell other than America out. So they've been selling America out. The people that in the bureaucracy and in the halls of Congress that have been running it are people that are foreign agents, rejects, and weirdos, and also corrupt public officials. And the United States, as we know it, was about to fall. We just didn't realize it. But this country was about to fall and be conquered by a whole bunch of people that are very bad with different interests and agendas, but what they have in common is they hate America. And if anyone other than Donald Trump would have won this election, even if Nikki Haley or DeSantis would have won, what I mean by that is any other Republican other than President Trump this country would have fallen. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but the path to the collapse of the United States as we know it would have been locked in, and it would have been probably impossible to stop it. So Donald Trump saved America. He saved America's way of life, and he's also saving Western civilization at the same time. And that speech outlined it all. Now, for the Democrats, how could the Democrats not stand for a little boy who has survived brain cancer? How can they live with themselves today? Do you think that, and I'll play some audio later after the first break, but do you think that Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace and the Democrats this morning are waking up and seeing the reaction to their freakish behavior last night and have any regret for the way they reacted to President Trump honoring this little boy who survived cancer? Or an orphan teenager who lost his father, who President Trump arranged to have his dream come true to be a West Point cadet? Or to a wife and daughter whose father sacrificed his life to save theirs when that never Trumper shot Trump and shot him dead? They can't stand for these people? What does that say about Democrats? What does it say about the media? It's not just that they're out of touch with the American people. I got a sneeze coming on like no one's business. Excuse me. Not even time to hit the mute button on that one. I'm allergic to liberalism, and talking to all these liberals has gotten my sinuses going. But what does it say about them? And they did this in unity as if they're heroes. You know, when presidents give states of the union and they're giving policy positions, it's normal for the opposition party not to stand and applaud. But for a little boy, barely 13, who's a brain cancer survivor, and hopefully he lives a long, long life, but I don't know the current situation with his cancer, what the doctors tell him. They can't stand for a little boy like that? I'm glad this happened because the world, the American people, saw the Democrats for what they are. Freaks, geeks, weirdos, and rejects, and evil, corrupt doers. I don't, as an example, Jocelyn, the little girl who was raped and murdered by Kamala and Joe Biden's dreamers. President Trump named, some preserve after her, but her mother's there. Does Jocelyn's mother not look like Madonna to you from the 90s, the early 90s? The Truth or Dare era of Madonna? I think she looks like Madonna. My wife thinks she looks like Madonna. Do you? But they sat on their hands in silence when President Trump is honoring a mother whose daughter was raped and murdered? Does that mean that they're in support of the rapist murderers? I think they are. What else could you take from that? I mean, the list goes on. They did so much damage, and they're so consumed with hate that I'm not sure that they see it. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on everything you saw last night, your opinions, your analysis, your takeaways, your emotional reactions. I'd also like to know if you cried. I can't remember. I don't know if I started crying with the little boy who survived brain cancer or before, but I was certainly crying then, and I thought I was done, and then President Trump started remembering Corey, and then it started again. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of this. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. 888-465-2631. That's 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We're going to take our first break of this Wednesday morning and be right back. Yeah, I was bawling my eyes out, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of you are just like me. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so hold on. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm texting Mike the board up. Okay, we will be back in less than 2 minutes. Call us on hold, stand by. I mean, in the Democrat, do you think that Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace um, this morning feel stupid? What do you think? Do they feel stupid? How could they not? In my view, I mean, I would be so humiliated if I were them. Absolutely. We'll be on the air in less than 1 minute. So callers on hold, stand by. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm broadcasting on the radio. And when I'm on the radio, I'm also live streaming on YouTube. And if you're watching on the live stream with the green background, you'll be able to hear the callers and me, but to hear the audio sound bites and the videos that I play later, you have to go to my other stream, which is the wide stream. Okay, 5 seconds. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm going to go right to the phones. We're talking about this historic speech last night. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Brian. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, good morning. Danielle calling from Michigan this morning. Oh, the one emotional.
You got to speak up a little bit, okay? Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, wonderful and emotional speech. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you just got to speak up a little.
Yeah, wonderful emotional speech last night. Yeah, sure. I did shed some tears. Very emotional, and I tell you the one thing that's extremely disturbing and very sad and emotional is seeing the response from the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Or should we say, seeing lack of response.
Yeah.
Terribly sad. I'll be making some calls to Talib's office, Dingle, and
well, that's a waste of a call and waste of time. But
you think so, Brian? Seriously?
Oh yeah. Right now, the news, people like me, the internet, social media are disgusted by their actions, and I don't think that's going to change it at all. They're so consumed with these people thought they had conquered the United States. They thought they were the mainstream viewpoint, and they're dealing with not just a defeat and a man they hate running things. They're dealing with rejection, and they're not seeing things clearly, obviously.
Yeah, they need a lot of prayer as we go and start Lent, and today's Ash Wednesday. Maybe we just need to pray hard for these people. But the one thing that really stuck, I mean, a lot of things were very emotional. When he was speaking of Butler, you could see how emotional President Trump was getting in regards to that.
Yeah.
It was was a great evening. It was a great speech, and I'm so there's a lot of positivity. Disappointing, but let me tell you something. American people are awake, and when it comes to the midterms, people are going to remember what they've just seen and how the other side really doesn't love our country.
There's some things when America comes together during certain things. 9/11, Americans came together. They had that, Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, and Robin Williams had that comic relief thing that they had going on. If I remember correctly, that was for homeless people, like in the 90s. And they brought it back for the Concert for America. And it was televised live right after 9/11 in New York City. And Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, and Robin Williams came out on stage. And Billy Crystal said, there are no Republicans or Democrats right now. We are all Americans. And that's been lost with liberals. When President Reagan was shot, there's a very funny joke he told when the surgeons were about to operate on President Reagan after Hinckley shot him. He said to the doctors, he says, I hope you're Republicans. He said, and the doctor said, we're all Republicans today, Mr. President. These Democrats are upset that Butler turned out the way it did. And it was obvious. They're sick.
They are sick and they are evil, and it was disgusting to see, but boy, what a display so everybody could see how much they really don't love our country. But
they hate us.
The entire speech was extremely emotional, and
indeed, indeed,
it was disappointing. So, and being from Michigan,
no, it wasn't. What was you say disappointing? What were you disappointed in?
I was disappointed that there wasn't that they couldn't stand for anything.
Yeah,
they couldn't stand for the young survivor of brain cancer. I mean, this is just, it was sick.
Well, when you're that angry, you don't hear what's going on around you. You lose perspective. Hey, thank you for the call. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't disappointed. We saw, it was one of the few times we've seen Democrats in their natural way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, man? This is Vinny from Huntsville, Alabama.
Hey, Vinny.
Doing?
All right.
Maga.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to note, man, I was at a right-wing watch party last night, and the room was ecstatic, man. It was such a great vibe of all races. It didn't matter. We all had the same agenda, but just to watch cancer patient, doesn't matter if he had cancer or not. He was a kid.
Yeah.
For you not to stand up for him and give him his proper respect, and for the simple fact he wants to grow up and do something right for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody stood up, and the simple fact that if you looked at everybody's faces, they were straight stoic about the situation.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
They were,
yeah, and I'll tell you something. Oh, hold on one second. I lost you there. Okay, and there you go. I'll tell you something. I think they're going to double down today, the Democrats. I think a lot of these Democrats are going to go on CNN and MSNBC and double down on their behavior.
I tell you, man. If you watch any of the post shows, especially corrupt news network CNN, it was just a lot of backlash and just a lot of attacks. I mean, you got a kid up here with a 4.0 grade point average, and you just got to point it to West Point, and you can't stand up for that.
No.
And the whole point of the congressional hearing is for us to stick together, and they just showed who they really were.
Well, the teenager, an orphan, he lost his father that was appointed to West Point. What they saw was a white heterosexual male. And they don't think people like that should be going to West Point. If he was wearing a prom dress, that'd be another story.
And that's the sense of evil that I just, when I looked at that whole side of the room, I could just sense. I was like, man, this is some evil, weird shit, man. I mean, how?
Well, Mike, dump that. We should dump that. I think, Mike. Yeah, you can't spell out the cuss words either, people. Oh my goodness. I thought that was coming when he started to say that. I don't. Based on what we saw in the aftermath last night, I don't expect to see them backtrack. I mean, when do Democrats ever take responsibility for anything and say they did something wrong. So no, I'm expecting them to double down today. I think we'll see a lot of members of Congress on television defending the behavior of the Democrats, and these disgusting people on CNN and MSNBC. I think they've done permanent damage to themselves, and they better watch out because they're back in business. What I mean by that is they're not getting the USAID money sent to them anymore. So they actually have to pay their way through, like, I guess, business as opposed to ripping off the taxpayers to fund all this liberalism. And Al Green, I was so pleased to see MAGA Mike Johnson remove Green. And he, Green, he's so stupid, and arrogant and senile. He probably thinks he's the great American hero here. He thinks he's a Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks type because he acted out that way and he was removed and they couldn't hear me. I'm hoping there's some censoring that goes on by the Speaker of the House. If you remember, Obama gave a State of the Union, and a Republican shouted out when everyone was applauding, but everybody stopped as he shouted, remember, that you lie. And he got in a lot of trouble. They censured him in the Congress. And it was one of those things where he was yelling, and the room went quiet, and it was like, if everyone had not stopped applauding Obama, no one would have heard it, but, it happened. He got in a lot of trouble for that. I can't remember who that was, and is he even still in the Congress? But the way they behaved last night was, I'm so glad. I am so glad that it happened because the American people saw it. They saw them for what they are. They were not standing up for things that are universally accepted as great, like a child surviving brain cancer. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. That's the Democrat response. 1-888-465-2631. I'm expecting a lot of that today, so be on the lookout for it. I mean, if you're a Democrat and you saw that, the Democrats, it's like they were reliving the election again. One of my favorite parts is when President Trump was talking about the lawfare and asked them how it worked out for him. All right, now listen, after the bottom of the hour break, I'll go back to the phone. So if you'd like to call in and share your thoughts, your analysis, your emotional reaction to President Trump's speech last night, certainly is welcome at 1-888-465-2631. I want a great message for all you great American MAGA patriots out there. The free shipping offer at MyPillow continues. And also the mega sale. There are huge savings on the towels. I dry off with those towels every morning when I get out of the shower. I sleep on my MyPillow bed sheets. Huge sales on those. I sleep on my MyPillow mattress topper, which is on top of my MyPillow mattress. All great deals and discounts on all these items with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, but also free shipping site-wide, regardless of the size of the order. There's no catches. Free shipping on all orders, no matter how small. So there's no minimum order for the free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout. This is probably the lowest prices ever at MyPillow.com because not only are you getting the discounts during the mega sale with our promo code Kane, you're getting free shipping on top of it. So you're getting a double deal at MyPillow.com. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane. This is your time to load up. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, those of you on hold, hang in there. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. Now, if you guys would like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video, and that's a picture of me at Mar-a-Lago right there. And say I bought a new suit to meet the president and a tie. I'll wear that on the cruise. If you become a Patreon supporter, you have access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, and top Patreon supporters get a live on-air shout-out on all of my podcast episodes. Plus, my wife and I both post things there that we do not post anywhere else. So there's a link in the description of the video if you would like to become a Patreon supporter. Okay. Let's see here. So, if you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Okay. See, there's a 40-second delay between me and the radio station. So Mike, he texts me what time we're coming back, and then I have to add 40 seconds to it, which doesn't sound that difficult, but sometimes it is. Like, we're coming back from this break at 46 seconds after. So I got to add 40 seconds to that. So 30 seconds would be 16, so another 10. Okay, so 26 seconds after. It's too early, and I don't have enough caffeine to do the math yet. Oh, yeah, I know. It's one of those things. That's absolutely amazing. Okay. Yeah, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to all of it. I mean, let me ask you this. Would you agree that that was the best presidential speech ever? And I don't mean just of Trump. I'm talking about ever for any president. Yes or no to that? I would say yes. I mean, it was, the country needed it. I was talking in the first segment about, we'll be back in 1 minute on the air, about how the country was about to fall between the invasion and the wokesters. And President Trump, right in the beginning, America is back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go right back to the phones when we get back. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Phones are very busy, but I'm very, yeah, I mean, by far the best ever. Mm-hmm. All right, stand by. 5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And we're talking about this historic speech last night and just getting your reactions, your analysis, your emotional reactions. And I've shared some of mine, and I've got more that I'll share. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, that congressman you were talking about earlier that said you lied, that was Joe Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what happened to him? Do you know?
Yeah, and look, Al Green got his behind thrown out. Let's call him the Geico caveman, you know. But Al Green deserved to get his behind thrown out of the speech.
But you know, Al Green thinks he looked good last night. He thinks he's like Rosa Parks now, you know.
Oh yeah, they're delusional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, we couldn't do anything about Pelosi tearing up his speech, right? In his first term, we couldn't do anything about that because she was in power. She was the Speaker of the House at the time. We couldn't do anything about it. They wouldn't have allowed us to do anything about it. Well, these people try to pull these stunts like Al Green did. Well, we got a good MAGA Mike Johnson did his job.
Yeah, he did. In fact, it was so nice that he did that on television, wasn't it? I thought it was beautiful. Okay, all right. Our phones are very busy today, and I'm taking them to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. Hold on a second here. I've got more calls coming in than I can almost handle. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I just want to return the call, man. My name is Vinny, and I just called you.
Yeah, I know. The call was at 1 call per day, Vinny. 1 call per day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Jen calling from Jupiter.
Hey, Jen. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm just calling to let you know it sounds like you're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I know. I'm in communication with Mike at the radio station. But I appreciate you letting me know.
Okay, awesome.
All right,
I love the show.
All right, take care. You know, this is the only radio show ever when there's any technical glitch you hear from people in the audience. It's really amazing. I love it because that's how much you all care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
David from Manhattan.
Hey, David.
Hey, so as a supporter of Doge and Donald Trump and all this transparency, my question is the recent findings that billions have turned into millions. Are we to be happy about this, or are we supposed to be angry? Is this a positive thing? Is this going to make Donald Trump look like an idiot? Is it a bad thing for Doge?
What could be a bad thing for Doge? I missed that. I can't imagine anything being bad for Doge. What do you think might be bad for Doge?
So I have a podcast, and most people are saying now that Doge was lying about the billions when it actually was millions. They're finding out that
oh really?
the estimate was wrong.
Well, you don't believe that nonsense, do you?
Well, this is the thing. I hope it's true.
Hope what's
I'm
true?
gonna be honest with you.
You hope what's true?
I hope that the federal government isn't as evil. And,
no, it's evil, but all right, I don't, he's calling. He hasn't gotten to the point yet, but he's calling in to plug his pot. I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to let you plug your program. Advertisement on this program is not free. People pay a lot of money for it because it's worth it. Okay, so no free plugs. And I tell this to people: when you call in and you try to get a free commercial message. The way to think, I know people may not think of it this way, but we are on the air because of our commercial advertisers who do pay money to advertise on the program. And when you call in and try to get free commercial plugs, what you're doing, it's like shoplifting. If this were a retail store, not a radio show, you would be a shoplifter. And you just can't go in and shoplift because you want the food. You got to pay for it. Okay, let's go. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Miles Morrison. Traveling to Tennessee, I'm the first-time caller.
Yeah, all right. Well, call in with your real voice, and then we'll talk. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're on the air. What's your name?
Oh, it's one of those days.
My name's
Yeah, go ahead.
Central California, the red part of California.
Okay. What's on your mind? You're on the air.
Well, I just want to say that I'm so proud of President Trump now, even more so. And my favorite part of that was when he looked at Democrats in the eyes and told them how difficult they're being.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how can you not stand and support a child who's got brain cancer and survived it?
I know, right? It's not even that. It's just they wouldn't stand or applaud or anything last night. And it's just so embarrassing to the whole world.
Because they only stand for one thing, and that's their hatred of Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. 10 years now they've been doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they're going to have 4 more. And then Trump's successor.
I know. Right.
Mm-hmm. You know, the way things are, the way they're in self-destruct mode, we may gain seats in the midterm elections. Historically, the party in power loses in the midterms. We may gain.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right. Well, listen, appreciate the call. All right. Take care. All right. You can see the Democrats are in disarray. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brian. Donald calling from New York.
Hey, Donald.
I'm actually in the hospital, but I managed to listen to the speech last night, and I got to tell you, I don't remember the last time I was so proud to be an American. Just an amazing speech, and so poised, and so to the point, and so easy to understand. No rhetoric like we had from the Democratic counterpoints after the speech from that woman. It was just talking point after talking point. It was nothing but spin. It was very sad to see them, but I was very proud to see, Trump and what the Republican side did. Their conduct was just fantastic.
Absolutely.
And that was really pretty much what I wanted to share.
All right. I appreciate the call from New York. We got a call from California and New York, both behind Trump. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, Brian, I wasn't trying to plug anything.
All right. Well, then don't. It's one call per day. One call per day. He didn't get to the plug yet. Oh, my goodness. Those of you that are new to the program, we take the call screenless, which is by design, okay? And I'm not going to go into why. I've talked about that so many times. I'm going to do it now. But we take all the calls screenless. When you call, I just put you on hold. Now, we could screen the calls. By screen the calls, that means have somebody answer, what's your name, put you on hold, and all that stuff. But I don't like doing that because I like the unknown when we get... So there's a bit of a trade-off. When you make a decision to go screenless with the calls, which no other show does, I know some claim to do that, but they're lying to you. You gain a lot. There's a lot of positives, a lot of gain, but what you lose is a little bit of quality control. So so sometimes I have to be a little short with people here and there. All right, so. But you can tell by the reaction on the phones this morning that the reaction is, in this audience, not only incredibly positive. If you look at the media coverage outside of CNN and in particular MSNBC, they were the worst. The coverage on television and in the mainstream media is even pretty positive because I'm not including what happened last night on MSNBC or a little bit of CNN. A lot of times what happens is there's an immediate emotional reaction, and then the next day they start to, and then they start to sound like they're approving, even when they don't. So we'll find out. But I'll tell you, I watched that. Speech this morning. I didn't watch it last night because it's on a little late for me to be up early, but I like to watch, anytime there's a State of the Union, I always watch it in the morning because I want to have it fresh in my mind before I go on the air, and I want to be able to share my immediate reaction as opposed to seeing it and talking about it later. That's just how I prefer to do it. And I got to tell you, I was more moved by that speech than any speech I've ever seen a president of the United States give. In fact, I would say that looking back, when there have been important speeches given in my lifetime, the most emotional moment other than Trump with a president was George W. Bush with the firefighter at Ground Zero with the bullhorn. Okay? And as bad as he was as a war criminal liar about WMDs and all of that, George W. Bush, when he did that at Ground Zero, it was, the country needed that. They really did. It was important for the country. 9/11 was a long time ago, so a lot of people have forgotten, and but a lot of you haven't. And that was such a unifying moment with the firefighter and the bullhorn. Remember, I hear you, and soon the people that knock down these buildings are going to hear you too. Remember that? I remember the line. It was very, very important. This was very similar to that, but more important. Because as bad as 9/11 was, and it was god-awful, we weren't about to lose our country or our culture or our way of life, okay? Especially after 9/11, because it was such a unifier. We almost lost this country as we know it. I was talking about the wokesters and the America haters and the corrupt politicians selling us out and all of that. There was also a major land invasion with thousands of illegals invading our country each and every day for 4 years. And if Trump would not have won that election and come back into office, who knows what would have happened with any other person, even if it was a Republican. But the invasion would have been amped up. It would have increased. Also, the wokesters that were destroying our culture, that we're talking about in sports and all these things, they would have taken a Trump loss as the go-ahead to quadruple down on everything they were doing. They would have taken that as a major approval for all of their bizarre wokeness. And in 5 or 10 years, this would be a different country. I'm here speaking my mind about this, wearing a Make America Great Again hat. If Trump would not have won, wearing these hats may have been illegal by now already, certainly soon. What they were going to do is declare MAGA. You know how President Trump declared the drug cartels terrorist, right? Which, about time, that's awesome. The left, the Democrats, were going to declare MAGA a domestic hate group, maybe even a terrorist group, because they know how popular it is and they wanted that movement to stop. That's what their plan was. That's what their goal was. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. I stopped by to see Dr. Appleton yesterday, not for treatment. I'm not in pain. He's rid me of my pains until next time I get into an accident. I stopped in to say hi and have a little talk with him, and I don't see Dr. Appleton usually unless I've hurt myself or I'm in pain. It was the first time I went to see Dr. Appleton that I wasn't suffering. It was nice, and Dr. Appleton, he told me that's kind of normal. He doesn't hear from people for a long time. He knows he's rid them of pain, and then something will happen. They'll hurt themselves, and they'll be back. Living with pain is not necessarily a part of your life. I thought it was. I thought, okay, I'm getting older now. I'm over 50. Aches and pains, that's just the way it is. That's not the case. Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment can rid you of pain too, like he's done with me 7 times. Sometimes from pains from just aging, like arthritis, but sometimes, and most of the time, from just injuries. Because as you get older, you get hurt a lot easier, don't you? And you don't just get up and are not in pain anymore. It sticks with you. His laser wave pain treatment works on every type of pain I've heard of: stenosis, neck pain, tennis elbow, tinnitus, strains and sprains, sciatica, muscular contraction, herniated disc, lumbar pain, hip pain, knee pain, bursitis, bronchial neuralgia, arthritis, which rid me of arthritis, and many, many more. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. We'll be right back. Stand by if you're on hold. I'm talking with Mike, the board up at the radio station. They're having some technical issues, which I'm not sure if they've worked out or not.
Or with a homeowners association.
Okay, so 25, okay. All right. I got to do the math again because he gives me the time. We're coming back. This one's easier. We're coming back at 25 seconds after. So 40 seconds later is 5 seconds after. That's easy. So anytime when he tells me the time we're coming back, I have to add 40 seconds to it. That's the delay between me and the radio station. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. Great calls for the most part. And the guy that says he wasn't plugging, he was plugging in the chat. And the reason that is not just because of the people pay to advertise. That's a big part of it. But I don't know who you are, and I can't have somebody plugging something that I'm not familiar with. All right? That's all. All right, stand by. 4 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'll go right back to the phones. We're talking about the president's speech. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah, there you are. Oops. Sorry. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, so it was about the Doge thing. I think we got off on the wrong foot.
It's one call per day. This is your third time. If you call again, I'm going to not allow you to call in anymore.
All right. I want to call in. So
well,
again,
I'm not answering your question. It's one. I have one rule.
Why? What's the problem?
I have one rule. Okay. One call.
Show, yeah.
No, that's not the rule. It's one call per day. That's basically the one rule, and no profanity, right? But so there's two. You've called 3 times in like 30 minutes. So you've broken like the one rule I have. If you call one more time today, I'll never speak to you again, and you'll never speak to me.
I'm new to the show.
Okay, okay, so you know the rules. That's the rule, okay? All right, so another day, maybe. You're on the air. Oh, my goodness. And have something to say next time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, this is going to be one of those days, and and I'll tell you, it's fine with me. Believe me, I've been up against the best. I've been doing this a long time, and the reason you're hearing really weird things from these lefties on the phone today, that's how great President Trump was. He's flipped them out. You're on the air. Once.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? Yep. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brother Brian, IB, good morning.
Hey, IB.
I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to say it. Especially in the beginning of the speech, where the black guy was in prison, I think over 20 years. I got choked up at that point. And that was in the beginning of the speech.
Which part? Which part?
The black gentleman that was in prison over 20 years that Trump got out.
Yeah.
Just Trump let out so many black people, especially that lady like 3 years ago. Trump's supposed to be a racist. Why would he let black people back on the street?
All right, you've got to. The last caller before him had nothing to say, and this guy, he's got a lot to say, but he's got a bad phone connection. So maybe if they could get together, they'd have a good phone connection with something to say. Right? Okay, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lenny from Coconut Creek.
Hey, Lenny, what's up?
How you doing? I think last night was the greatest. There's no words other than the fact that the left showed who they truly are, and
well, who would that be? When you say that they showed who they are in a word or two, what do you think they are? What did they show themselves as?
People with a hatred that is, they have a hatred for Trump that is there are no words. You know, when that 13-year-old boy that was, dealing with cancer and everything.
Oh my goodness!
It was I was literally almost in tears.
I was. I started bawling, and I yeah.
What John,
Oh, the call waiting. A lot of technical problems with people's phones. Someone's trying to get a hold of you. Don't they know you're on the radio?
Well,
you got the call waiting.
Well, Al Green, John, when Johnson had him escorted out was, it's like I said, there's actually no words to express the.
Well, Al Green, Al Green thinks that he's the hero of the night. He stood up to Trump, and he's going to spend the rest of his time in Congress. That's like the highlight of his life. He thinks he's a freedom rider, from the 60s all of a sudden. He's out of his mind.
Well, Al Green and, it's not like they're standing out in the street, voicing, exercising, their First Amendment right and speaking the garbage that they're doing. This is something that the entire world was able to see. And
yeah, all right. Well, I appreciate the call. Yeah, well, listen, you can tell right now with the liberal reaction in this audience. The liberal reaction in this audience is one that is of confusion, panic, anxiety. They're not thinking clearly. They're acting out. And, these Democrats, they thought that America had been conquered by them. And the reality is this. The left-wing mindset has never been even close to as popular as they want to believe in the Democrat Party. They've just been overrepresented in media. And by media, I don't mean just news. I also mean like, movies and television. The liberal viewpoint has always been a minority view. And one thing with Democrats, they always push. They get an inch, they want a mile. And they push too far with the sports stuff and some of the other things that they were involved in the last 4 years. The border invasion, all these things. Oh yeah, these illegals commit murders, but how many Americans murder people? Well, what does that mean? It doesn't even make sense. So they pushed too far and they woke the people up. And Trump's massive landslide victory, winning all battleground states, flipping counties in places like California, was a big wake-up call to Americans that didn't know, but that the liberal viewpoint is not all that popular. That's why people like Tim Cook from Liberal Apple, who's also gay, is now on the Trump train, working with Trump and moving Apple manufacturing to the United States. I want to tell you how you can turn your money into guaranteed income for life, and that's, of course, calling Jupiter Joe Thomas. Talk to him about annuities. Annuities are amazing. When you're retired, you can't afford, the people yesterday talking about the stock market being down yesterday. Who wants to worry about that? With annuities, it doesn't matter what happens on the stock market any day. It could completely collapse. Your money is still safe in an annuity. And so it's completely zero risk. And you've got a revenue stream during your retirement. It's a great deal. There's no risk from stock market losses. And you have guaranteed income for life. Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations, which you can take advantage of no matter where you are located. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. You'll find it right there, jupiterjoe.com. All right. So when we get back from the top of the hour, I'll start playing some of the audio sound bites from last night. And I'm still a little choked up from that speech. I finished watching it not long before 5 a.m. this morning, and it was so good. It was so good. I mean, there's just nothing that President Trump said that I don't understand why every American would not support. Even he says we're taking back the Panama Canal. How could you be against that? China having control of it is god awful. That is a very strategic point of travel, militarily and economically. We did not give it to Panama. We allowed Panama to take it over with after they signed 2 treaties with the Carter administration that were ratified by the Senate. And the treaties we have with Panama said you can run the Panama Canal so long as you guarantee its security, which they've not done. It's been taken over by the enemy, China. So the treaty allows us to move in any way the president feels to take it back. And you know what? He's going to do it. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll try to elevate the quality of the calls moving forward. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. This is, of course, the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our top-of-the-hour break, be back with your calls and the audio sound bites of these lunatics right after this. Okay. Okay, so I'm coming on at, okay, I got the time. Okay. We'll be back in 35 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. Fifteen seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And we're talking about the incredible speech that I'm teary-eyed again just thinking about it. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you, from the moment he introduced the little boy who survived brain cancer, that's when I started bawling. And I thought I was done. And then he introduced the wife and daughter of Corey, who gave his life to save his daughter and his wife in Butler from that never-Trumper that shot the president. Then that was it. And I didn't stop after that for quite a while. And I can feel it in my eyes even now. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you that. And I'm not some guy that cries all the time, okay? If there's a funeral with someone close to me, maybe. But I'm not a big crier. But I was bawling last night. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if I was crying for those people or that President Trump has saved our country and our civilization. Our culture was about to be wiped out. So it's kind of just free associating everything involving that speech last night. So call in to share your thoughts, your analysis, your emotional reaction. We've gotten a bit of the pulse of the liberal reaction this morning on the calls. They're incoherent. They're shell-shocked. We're in a whole new place with these people. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Chris from Papa.
Hey, Chris. Oh, man.
Okay. Well, great show so far. I just wanted to chime in. I mean, President Trump was brilliant. I mean, I like to say it was as simple as it was brilliant. He just told it like it was, and pretty much what he's doing is on point. He's doing what the us voters elected him to do. And
why do you think that?
Nice.
Why do you think these Democrats on MSNBC are upset about a little boy who survived brain cancer? That is just twisted, man.
Listen, I think we've learned over the last few years just how intolerant and sad some Democrats can be. I won't say all.
Yeah.
Some have jumped on board from last night, actually, that I know personally. Because you know what? They're being told and sold, and they're not. You know, I'm glad President Trump addressed both houses, both sides of Congress, because otherwise people are told just not to listen, not to chime in. But here they have either no choice to listen or to see what's going on, or to, go back to YouTube and check it out later. And I've heard from 3 people that said, wow, I didn't know that, about the money that's being wasted. They didn't hear about the line items because they're not chiming in, and their usual channels of news don't tell them.
And they got this, I don't know, this talking point. Nobody that old's getting Social Security benefits. Obviously, there's no one that old alive. So who is getting the money? That's the question. The money's going somewhere.
And I believe you're right as far as, Democrats losing seats, because, come on, these are grown people who are, they take oaths and they're voted into their jobs. And they're sitting there being so childish as not to.
They're emotionally disturbed.
Yes, these are adults. They're called the Honorable So and So, representing this district or that district.
Yeah, indeed.
Senators and representatives alike, and who needs that? What kind of character is that to lead and do what we need them to do that we vote them in for?
That's right. All right, Chris. Good to talk to you. Always good hear from Chris. He always adds some sanity to the conversation. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Wow. What a speech, man. I was almost in tears myself. It's one thing when you hear about somebody being killed by an illegal. Another thing when you're seeing somebody who's lost their kid there, and then you feel like, wow, how you would feel if it was one of yours. Man, that was emotional. Anyway, but these damn Democrats, there's nothing they can stand up for. Nothing. They even Bill Maher is saying that the American people are sick of it, of their message, and they just don't want to correct it. They just want to stay as dumb as they've been and make themselves the new Whig Party.
Well, President Trump has changed. President Trump's conservative. And by today's standards, socially conservative. But if you go back to the first campaign, he was always pro-life, but he wasn't like a Pat Robertson 700 Club Christian Coalition type Republican. And he's really changed things a lot. Now, he may fit more of that mold now because the liberals have gotten so crazy. But back in the 80s and 90s, after Reagan left in the late 80s, during the 90s and the 2000s, although we had 2 terms of Bush, GW, The Democrats did have the pulse of the American people on some things, or at least they were successful in marketing their garbage. And that's why they were so successful. Donald Trump has marketed the Republican Party to a larger audience than any Republican ever. In fact, when he left, I can't remember which one it was. If you guys remember, I was watching when he left the podium and he went first to the Supreme Court justices, and one of them, I can't remember which one it was. If somebody knows, they congratulated Donald Trump on bringing in so many young people into the Republican Party. It was one of the Supreme Court justices. I can't remember which one. And and it got caught on mic, which was kind of cool. And I mean, never in the past did we have the youth vote, and a lot of it was because of some of the things that the Christian Coalition were doing and things like that. But the Republican Party is now the mainstream that feels the pulse of the American people, and the Democrats are very out of date.
You know, and then you have Chuck Schumer sitting right there, and Al Green gets up, and Chuck Schumer doesn't say, "Hey, sit down." You know, they just let him go, and they throw him out, which is great. I think that was fantastic, and I'm hoping they're going to do more than just let him go out and have nothing against him. Hopefully, the speaker will do something today to reprimand him and give him, or maybe kick him out.
Well, they do that in the past. They've censured members of Congress, which I don't know what that involves, but it certainly should happen. You know, I got to tell you, Al Green, who's as senile as the day is long, maybe he should be removed from Congress over that. That was he's not mentally stable, obviously, because of the senile whatever thing he has, and the way he behaved. He's unfit. They got rid of that Republican. He did nothing inappropriate in Congress.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping that's going to happen. And then the last thing is Chuck Schumer and the whole group of Pocahontas. They're all on saying, Trump has never done anything to fix the economy. All the prices went up. No, that's not correct. Because as I said once before, oil was $82 a barrel, and now today it's $68 a barrel. So it went all the way down. So any day now, the gas price is going to come way down.
And President Trump is talking about getting rid of the tax on oil.
Oh, man.
Which is, you know, in every state it's different. But in the state of Florida, I haven't looked this up in a long time. But years ago, this is how far it goes back. Like when Jeb was governor, 57 cents of every gallon of gas in Florida was taxed back then. 57 cents. I don't know if it's that or more now. And that's not all federal tax. Some of it's state tax. And even local cities have taxes on gasoline. And that's never talked about. Why do we have all these taxes on gas? All right, good to talk to you, Doug. You added a lot to the conversation today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? My name is Howard. I'm calling from Sunrise, Florida. How are you, sir?
All right.
Listen, I just wanted to say last night was so incredible. That speech, it was just phenomenal. My girlfriend.
I can't. You got to get off the speakerphone. You got to pick up the phone.
All right, hold on one second.
Yeah, sure. Sure, yeah, I know. We'll just hold on. That's cool. I get it. Hopefully he's got something good to say.
Wait, hold
on. No, you're still on the speaker.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I'm off speaker.
Yes, okay. I can understand your words now. Yes, okay. Start over.
Okay, awesome, Brian. Awesome. Okay, well, my wife and I were laying in bed last night to watch the speech because the big TV is up there. So we were just laying in bed and everything. I mean, it was just so incredible. You were saying the little boy with brain cancer. The best part is when he went over to the kid from West Point and gave him another, a high five and a hug. I thought. Oh,
that was amazing. Yes, that was great.
All that stuff that little kid's been through, and I just wanted to say the Pocahontas thing with Pocahontas. Pelosi's so miserable, and just everybody's face in there when they did show him, the Democrats. They are the unhappiest people. I mean, it's just disgusting.
I wonder if President Trump did that on purpose, or did he just slip with the Pocahontas because that's what he always refers to her as?
But at least she was clapping. Did you see she was clapping? She was actually clapping to that.
Yeah, yeah. She probably can't hear.
But anyway, it's just a pleasure to call you. I've met you a few times at Tires Plus, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm so
You mean
happy.
no? You did not.
So
You mean no?
proud.
Excuse me. You met me a few times at Friendly Tire in Margate.
That's correct.
Not that
That's
place.
correct.
You better not You better not go to that place. Friendly Tire in Margate.
No. That's where I met you. Friendly Tire on Margate.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You're,
All right.
You're awesome. Listen, Brian, thanks for having me call, and have a blessed day.
All right. Take care. Take care. All right. So far in the second hour, we have elevated the quality of the call so far. If you're on hold, hang in there. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
It's just a pleasure to call you. I've met you a few times at Tires Plus, and
Hear how long the delay is?
You mean no?
You mean no? Excuse me. You met me a few times at Friendly Tire in Margate. See the delay?
That's correct.
Not that place. You better not You better not go to that place. Friendly Tire in Margate.
No.
There you go. That's a long delay. That's why I got to do all the math when he gives me the time we're coming back. Welcome. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. Boy, oh boy. I really do appreciate your take, because I think most people have added something to the conversation, even these liberal dopes, because they're unhinged. Let the liberals continue to act out. Okay, he gave me 16, so okay. He just gave me the time we came back. I had to add 40 seconds to it. That speech was just phenomenal. I mean, all of Trump's speeches are good, but that speech was just so important, man. It was just so important. It really was. It energized me. What about you guys? Exactly. He's doing everything we wanted him to do and more. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Okay, 35 seconds and we'll be back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. I was talking earlier. I went and stopped by to say hello to Dr. Appleton yesterday. I'm not in pain. I didn't hurt myself, but I stopped in to talk to him for a few minutes. And the first thing Dr. Appleton said to me was, wow, You've thinned out. You've lost weight. That's right. You know, I reached my weight loss goal from Coastal Weight Loss Secret almost a month before my date that I had set that I wanted to do it by. You know, when I went to meet with Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, he said, well, why do you want to lose weight? Yeah, he asked me, you know, and how much you want to lose. And I said, well, we got our cruise coming up on March 29th. And this was on Inauguration Day. Remember we had our Inauguration Day party at Wings Plus? Right before that, I met Dr. Zuckerman for the first time. And I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret a week later because I was going out to visit my daughter in LA, and I knew I was going to be going out to dinners and lunches and such out there. But he said, how much you want? I said 25 pounds. He said, no problem. I said, really, Doc? I mean, 29th of March, 25. He's like, you got it, right? And boom, here I am, 3 weeks, a little more than 3 weeks, almost a full month. And I reached my goal. I lost the 25 pounds. And, you know, the cool thing about it, I've done no exercise. I haven't been starving myself. I'm not taking any medications. But the weight where I lost it is exactly where I wanted to lose it. My stomach, my waist. And those were areas, no matter what I did, I couldn't lose a centimeter. I couldn't lose an ounce. But I did, thanks to Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Give him a call. When you call, I'm going to give the number in a moment. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. I know it's amazing. It is so amazing. It feels good. The shirt I'm wearing now, this shirt was getting tight on me. And now it fits like it's supposed to fit. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlasssecret.com. coastalweightlasssecret.com. All right, we're talking about the great speech given by our favorite president, Donald Trump, last night, which had me bawling. And I know you guys, a lot of you were crying too. Come on, how could you not? We're going to go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Ben from Pompano.
Hey. Yeah, what's up?
Am I on?
You're on. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, no problem. Hey, so I was just calling about the address he gave last night, and I have to say, I was cheering at the TV the whole time. I thought it was unbelievable. He was calling them out to their faces. They wouldn't stand for even the most basic human decency things, but the one thing they stand for is for Ukraine. It's great because no matter what position Trump takes, Democrats reflexively take the opposite. So he can take a position which is supported by 80% of the public, and if Trump supports it, Democrats just keep shooting themselves in the foot. No matter what they do at this point, they're in a death spiral where they just keep making themselves look worse and worse and worse. And no matter what Trump does, I mean,
yeah, but but we're happy about that. We don't want them to correct this behavior because they're doing themselves in, which helps us.
I know, and it's pathetic too because you think they would have a reflection. It just goes to show you that I think we're going to win for a long time to come. Because they don't have what it takes to actually look at themselves and see what they're doing wrong. They're such emotional, petulant children that their only response is just taking the opposite position of whatever Trump takes, even if it's something like we don't want men playing women's sports, which 80% of Americans are that's an obvious no-brainer. And so they looked so pathetic last night. We are doing things that I think they forgot. He just won a mandate in November. So for them to oppose them, I mean, they're sticking it to the American people. He just won in the most spectacular fashion I've ever seen anything in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And their response to that is not to try to emulate it because, maybe he might know a thing or two about.
Well, it's an interesting thing because President Clinton, who is a very smart man, okay, President Clinton's brilliant. And when he was running for re-election in 1996, it was 2 years after the Republican Revolution with Newt Gingrich, the Contract for America. And the Republicans gained control of the House and the Senate. And it was the first time that the Republicans controlled both houses at the same time for 35 years at that time. It was a big deal. And they had a lot of positions that obviously were popular. So when Bill Clinton ran for re-election 2 years later, Dick Morris was his campaign manager, he adopted all the conservative Republican Newt Gingrich positions, like welfare to work, and I don't remember what all the others were at the time. And he adopted, not because he agreed with Newt Gingrich, but he knew that's where the pulse of the American people was, and he went into re-election in 1996 with a pretty big victory, probably bigger than his first time. These Democrats are rejects and weirdos, and they can't, and corrupt public officials, and they have no leader with a brain.
No. And you know what? Like, you know, it was great for. They're just so unbelievable. They really are in chaos. They're doing the same thing that made them lose, which is our position is attack Trump. We don't have any ideas. We don't want to scale back our craziness. We're just going to go after Trump. We're going to complain about things that he's fixing, that we caused, by the way. They complain about his approach to the border. They opened it. They complain about his approach to anything international, but they caused it because we had peace under Trump, and then Biden gets in, and all of a sudden Haiti goes upside down. We have to evacuate 5 embassies, China and Taiwan.
I mean, what do they tell themselves? What are the Democrats telling themselves today when they could not applaud a 13-year-old child who has survived brain cancer?
And Riley. Yeah. We have the 13 Americans who died at Abbey Gate.
Oh, that was amazing. The Abbey Gate. How many Americans were killed there? 13, 11? Was it 11?
What about Mark Fogel? He was an American hostage who was in Russia during Biden's administration, and they did not even stand and clap for him. They didn't even want to get rid of. They didn't want to save him.
An American hostage free. They can't clap for that. I mean, and the little boy's black. They still couldn't do it.
That's the thing, but this is Trump's superpower, because all he has to do is take popular position, and they'll oppose it, and they'll just oppose Trump into oblivion.
And they had those stupid paddles, those ping pong paddles that they were holding up.
I saw it.
You know, and they're wearing all this Ukraine flag clothing. They think they're heroes.
They're like Stanford professors. They're like so out of touch with like the American people, and their positions are so just like esoteric and weird. You know what I mean? Like they just support. They're like really just out of touch, left wing, ivory tower academic people. And when they come, it's like that. Did you see she's a famous. She's from Connecticut, much to my shame, because I'm from Connecticut. But she's the representative from Connecticut, Laura D'Amato. She's always got the crazy hair color. She's super old. She looks like a goblin. You remember? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's when people, they're like MSNBC hosts. They're whack jobs, and they're completely out of touch with the American people. And then you got Trump coming along, finally speaking to Americans about the things they cared about, which is why he gets such
they're obviously emotionally disturbed. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of like homeless people. They get arrested and they start to freak out. They seem normal, then they freak out. These are emotionally disturbed people.
I think that's like a statistical fact. Like 50% of libs under like 29 have like some sort of diagnosed mental illness.
Yeah.
Leftism is a mental illness for sure, because you can't support it and be a rational person. You can support it and be evil. You can support it and be ignorant, and you can support it and be mentally ill. But you can't support it and be a rational, sane, good person. And so the only people who are leftists or Democrats are either one of those.
But there's some things though that are universal. Like little girl Jocelyn was raped and murdered by those illegals.
Yeah.
Her mother's there, and they can't. And they sit on their hands, which means they're supporting the rapist murderers of, what was she, a 12-year-old baby?
I don't even want to think about it.
I don't like to think about it either, and I'm sure her mother is it's difficult for her mother, who looks like Madonna. I'm telling you, her mother, it's got to be so tough for her, but she does it. They're sick. These Democrats are sick.
I know, but this Trump, he's just so unbelievable, because he's able to produce results that benefit him in the most counterintuitive ways. Like, he'll do something, we'll all throw a fit, why is he doing this? And then, like, he just sees 10 steps ahead, and, like, the perfect thing is, like, getting Democrats to react.
I'll tell you also, their treatment of Bobby Kennedy, and the president said, with the name Kennedy, you think the other side would be applauding how soon they forget Bobby. Bobby Kennedy, you know, his father and his uncle's lives were taken by the same people that shot President Trump, by the way, probably, for this country. And what would Bobby Kennedy and President Kennedy have thought at that? They'd be disgusted. Come on.
Oh, I know. And I think we're just going to get more Bobby Kennedys, more Tulsi Gabbards. We're just going to get more people to come to our side because, like, Democrats have shown last night, they're not willing to flex an inch. They're not. They let in the radical left. They've taken over. And now these little petulant crybabies who walk out, who hold up stupid signs, who yell while our president is speaking, you know, no one's going to put up with this anymore because their behavior is now gone beyond the norm.
That's right.
They're now only in the category of, like, insane people, and only insane people are going to agree with them.
Yep. All right. Hey, I appreciate the call. Great content. You added to the conversation. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this. And what would Bobby Kennedy and President Kennedy have thought at that? They'd be disgusted. Come on. That's the delay.
I think we're just going to get more Bobby Kennedys, more Tulsi Gabbards. We're just going to get more people to come to our side.
Oh, boy, guys. Did Trump not make you proud last night? Made me proud. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. I can still feel it in my eyes from when I was really crying this morning watching that speech. It was beautiful. Okay. $37. So. Okay. 17 seconds after we come back. Now, guys, I want to tell you there's a link to this book in the description of the video, Everyday AI, Unlocking the Power of Artificial Intelligence in Your Life. And it's a book that is free on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. If you don't, you just have Kindle, it's less than $5. Is it just under $5? It's $4.99, but free on Kindle Unlimited. And it's a book about how you can use AI in your life, no matter what you're doing, work, home, private life, Everyday AI. And there's a link in the description of the video. So if you could download that book, it's also available in paperback, I'd appreciate it. But it's free in Kindle Unlimited. Okay, so oh man, how exciting, huh? How exciting. If you're on hold, hang in there. Stand by, everyone. Okay. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And, oh, man, just that speech last night. I feel so energized today. And, you know, America is back. It is morning again. Or it's morning again in America every day with President Trump is our great president. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Great show so far, and well, it will be the next for the rest of the.
You know how I think. You knew that was coming, right? Just so far.
Yeah, I couldn't take it back fast enough.
Oh my goodness. You know, I can find a slight out of the greatest compliment. So you know how I am.
This what I couldn't understand. Trump made reference to one city, Detroit. Nobody in the damn stand when he was saying bring back manufacturing to Detroit for those good paying and high paying jobs for an inner city like Detroit and try to help rebuild the city and bring back all this manufacturing that was lost.
Yep.
And they couldn't stand for that.
That's right.
I mean, it just is.
Well, you know, I was talking about, the way that, Canada pretty much declared war on the United States yesterday. They're so stupid in Canada, too. I saw a guy in a liquor store in Canada who was taking all the American liquor off the shelves. They've already bought it, and it's been imported already. That's how stupid they are.
Yeah. and then the gal that gave the Democratic response was the new Michigan ex-CIA House of Representative, and she was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Oh, the CIA Congresswoman? Yes.
Yeah, she was nasty. She was nasty. Put it that way.
You know, I'll tell you this. With that speech yesterday, and I stand by this. That is the greatest presidential speech I think that's ever been given. And I mean, of all of them, because I was talking about this earlier, and I want to recap. I'll recap this with you because this is important. Right now on X, there's a video that has gone viral, and you may see this later today. In Parliament, they got everyone there, Parliament and the Prime Minister, and they're playing Muslim music and doing some type of Ramadan thing in Parliament. And it's going viral, and what the person that has the video that posted it online said, England has been conquered without a military invasion. And that's true. It's true. And you will see this later today, I'm sure, somewhere. And here's the thing. The United States, we were on the verge of being conquered through the land invasion of thousands of illegals every day from south of the border to these wokesters that had infiltrated all levels of American society, not just the government, but media. And if anyone would have won this election other than Donald Trump, our culture would have collapsed and America would have been overrun and conquered. That's it. And he saved us.
Well, let me tell you something else about Trump. What his speech was that impressed me so much is there's nothing they could fact check.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Well,
did
they're
not put
trying to
himself
say
out
the only thing
to any type of exaggeration or anything.
they're trying
You
to.
couldn't fact check him.
They're trying to, like Bernie Sanders said, there's no one that old on receiving social. He said receiving Social Security payments. No, there's no one that old alive, but someone's getting the money. Who? Where's it going?
Someone's cashing the checks.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find out. They'll find out who's cashing the checks.
The investigation's going on. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Great call. Great call. All right. Before we go back to the phones, though, let me tell you about Slomin's and the free doorbell camera offer. I love my doorbell camera. I love that doorbell camera. You know, you get a notification on your phone anytime there's movement at your door, no matter where you are in the world. Like when we're on the cruise, we leave on the cruise on March 29th. When we're in the islands or on the ship, I get notifications when there's movement at the door. I know who's at the door. And you can have the same thing. Now, obviously, it's a part of my security system at home and a great part of it, and it's very good for that. But would I use it more often, because people aren't trying to break into my home every day, I get deliveries, Amazon, DoorDash, right? Those kind of things, Uber Eats, something like that, or or a door-to-door salesman, a solicitor, and I got a notification long before they get to my door, and so I don't have to get up and stop what I'm doing at home. I just don't answer the door, right? I don't have to get up and look through a little peephole anymore. I could just, you go everywhere with your phone pretty much. I just pick up the phone and look, oh yeah, salesman, Amazon delivery. I don't have to go check it. So you can get a doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone too for free with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Slomin's also is going to give you a customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call, no matter where you're located. This number is so easy to remember. 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Fred calling from Coral Springs.
Hey, Fred, what's up?
I don't know if anybody mentioned this while I was on hold, but I was watching the thing on Fox last night, and I don't know if it was a pool camera or their people, but when that 13-year-old boy was getting awarded, they focused in on Florida resident and cancer survivor Debbie Wasserman
Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. Just sat there on her head and, didn't clap. And I'm sure she's not the only cancer survivor in the House or the Senate. And that just really embarrassing.
And being a cancer survivor is part of her identity. In fact, she may have legally changed her name to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, cancer survivor. That might be her name now legally. And I'd forgotten about that. That's a good pickup because I saw her, but I'd forgotten about the cancer. Yeah, that's sad.
It's really sad and despicable. And that's all I got to say. Great show today.
All right, take care. Yeah, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's a local villainess. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dave from Detroit. The Nazi propaganda is back. Fascism is back.
Oh, I missed that in the news. Where at? Who's the fascist Nazi?
Oh, that was Trump last night.
Give me an example. Hold on. This okay.
The propaganda.
Give me an example of something he said last night that's Nazi-like, a Nazi position. You call him a Nazi.
The propaganda said that Biden caused the bird flu.
He didn't say he caused the bird flu. He didn't say he caused the bird flu. No, give me something that he, and I don't even, excuse me?
I'm talking. A man is talking.
Okay, that's it. I don't mind talking to a jerk, but I'm not here to be, abused by you. Oh my. The reason he did that, and we've heard from a lot of liberals on the phones today since 6 a.m. right out the gate. Have any of them not been unhinged? And the reason he did that is so I would hang up on him. And he wanted to get hung up on because he knew what the next question was going to be, which was this. No. You said Trump's a Nazi. He didn't say that. Give me something he actually said that's Nazi-like. And as opposed to doing that, he acted out in that way so that he would get hung up. This might be him again, so let's see. All right, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Randy from South Mississippi.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Brian. I'm getting ready for work, and I just picked up on your program. The Demofrauds last night looked like what Howie Mandel used to run a show. I forgot what it. I can't remember the name, where you had the caller and behind the shadow screen. They looked like the Democrats last night looked like modern day slaves. They weren't going to do anything. They weren't going to show anything until they got the phone call down there to them to react. It is a travesty. They are feckless. And the way Al Green performed with a ponytail and you're 70 years old, get out of here. Mike Johnson did perfect. Trump's speech was 100% on point. Thank you for your show. Go MAGA.
Well, thank you. Yes, that's right. MAGA strong. That's right. Oh, man, it's time for this show's flying by. I feel like we just opened up the show, and we're well over halfway through it. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our last break of the second hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Work, and I just picked up on your calls last night. What Howie Mandel used to run a show. I forgot what I can't remember the name, where you had the caller. And
Very good call.
The shadow screen. They look like.
Is he talking about Deal or No Deal?
The Democrats last night looked like modern day slaves. They weren't going to do anything. They weren't going to show anything until they got the phone call down there to them to react. It is a travesty. They are feckless. And the way Al Green performed with a ponytail and you're 70 years old, get out of here. Mike Johnson did perfect.
See how long the delay is?
Speech was 100% on point. Thank you for your show. Go MAGA.
Well, thank you. Yes, that's right. MAGA strong. That's right. Okay. The reason I'm doing that, we were having some technical issues. So I'm just listening to how it sounds. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. Welcome back, one and all. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We're talking about this historic, beautiful, perfect speech that our favorite president, Donald Trump, gave last night. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on.
Is this me?
Sounds like you.
Yo, what's up? It's Sean from Westlake Work. Yo, I just wanted to say, total master class by Trump last night. He baited them into not clapping by telling them beforehand that if he cured cancer or he said a horrible disease, that they wouldn't clap. Also, they were prepared for the outbreaks with Al Green. Mike Johnson totally hit a home run with that, kicked them out, and then there would be no more,
Well, Brian
outbreaks.
Glenn, Brian Glenn, who's with Real America's Voice. He used to be with Right Side Broadcasting. He's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. And he's a reporter for Real America Voice now. And he was reporting the Democrats got busted. They were trying to smuggle in the purses of the ladies noise-making devices and things to cause disturbances with.
They also had Antifa block the route. So what Trump did was he sent out a fake motorcade, probably a couple cop cars.
Really?
An SUV. Yeah, I'll send it to you on Twitter. I send you stuff all the time. So yeah, total master class. He knew what he was doing. He baited them 5 minutes in. He's like, yeah, you guys won't clap for anything, knowing what he was going to do with Jocelyn's mom and all the other kids. The 13-year-old and Nicole Wallace was just horrible. I don't know if you saw the clip of that. She was literally saying stuff about January 6th. These people are broken, and I'm glad. I love it. Look at that last caller talking about Nazi stuff, and it's like it just doesn't work anymore.
No.
So I'm glad. I'm going to listen off air. Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
All right, take care. It's at CPAC last weekend, or was it the weekend before? The Prime Minister of Italy, she was speaking. It was a tape, and she says they don't believe them anymore. The people don't believe them anymore. The left, that's right. Yeah, since he mentioned it, I haven't played any sound bites. This is Nicole Wallace last night, and she's talking, of course, about the little boy who survived brain cancer, who was made a Secret Service agent last night by the man who saved the president's life. Wow, I mean, she's just she's got it on the brain. If you listen to her, she is really out of it. And you got to wonder with comments like that. This morning, will she have regret? Will she have regret? This is Scott Jennings on CNN last night. He's great. He's the only thing worth watching on CNN. Yeah, I mean, and that's CNN talking, and Scott Jennings is a good guy, but you don't hear CNN disagreeing with it too much. And I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they're just incredibly emotional, but Rachel Maddow, then we'll take some more calls. Wow. I missed the part where the president took credit for curing cancer, and I didn't hear that he was cured. It could come back. I don't know if he's in. I don't know what his current situation is. These are emotionally disturbed mental patients that should not be on the air. They're saying things that are so insane, it is irresponsible to put them on television. If I started talking in weird ways like that, I would hope somebody would intervene and say, Brian, we need to take you somewhere and get a CAT scan. Something's going on with you. We need to get you to the hospital and get your head examined. I'm not kidding, by the way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, okay. This is Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In regards to what you're talking about, the Parliament, there's a series on Amazon called The Border. Watch it. They'll explain it.
I don't need to. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's good, but I don't need to have anyone. I don't need anybody to explain it to me. England has fallen, and it's gone, and it's not coming back. It's a tiny little country. It's been overrun. I appreciate the call though, and that would have been our future. Okay, if President Trump had not been reelected, that would have been our future. The situation that this country was in these last 4 years, between the invasion and these wokesters and these corrupt officials selling our country out, we came so close to losing it. And the reason there's so much energy from the American people in favor of the president last night is not just because we won an election and we love him. That's part of it. But it's because he saved our nation, our civilization, our culture. It was all being wiped out. And we have never been so close to losing it. Even during the Civil War, things were pretty hairy in the Civil War. The War of 1812, there were some hairy moments in American history, the Great Depression. But we've never had 9/11, but we've never had a threat that was going to wipe out the American culture that we were facing, and that we were really in the beginnings of them doing it, and they were having incredible amounts of success. As an example, look at this weirdo, bizarro Oscar ceremony this week. That was the future of America. The Oscars is what the entire country would have been like. You're on the air. You're on the air. Go ahead. There you go. My fault. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Omar. I'm calling in to address what you just said about I'm so sorry to address what you just said about I'm so sorry. I completely lost my train of thought.
England. I was talking about the fall of England. I don't know what you're referencing. I talked about a lot of things.
The idea that our country was on some sort of downward spiral.
Yeah.
That our country was like about to be. I really want to understand what you mean by that, and why do you say that our country was in some. Not to say that there wasn't anything wrong with our country. Not to say that America's some sort of like.
Oh, I'll tell you. No. I'll tell you. Listen, we're up. I only have a couple minutes till the top, but I want to take the time to explain it to you. All right. One, there was a land invasion of 25 million illegals into the country in the last 4 years. And they were being brought here for all kinds of devious reasons, not just a crime wave, but to change the demographic of the country from American to non-American. Okay, the wokesters had destroyed women's sports with the transgendered athlete thing. Okay, the critical race theory, which was being taught in public schools, was teaching that all white people were racist, even a little baby just born outside of the womb. The list goes on. All of these things were wiping out America as we know it, since you asked.
But, Brian, my issue with that is that there is easily verifiable proof that those things are not happening the way that you say that they are.
They're not happening now.
Right.
What? Tell me about the land invasion.
No,
slow down.
I'm not talking about right now.
What about what about the land invasion from the open southern border? 25 million illegals, thousands every day. That didn't happen?
Again, you can look at the actual numbers on that. Like, they have these numbers like posted on the internet.
Who's
so you can
they?
go and look at
Who's they?
What was actually happening.
I listened to the president. What about the women's sports? The transgendered athletes wiping out women's sports, beating up women in the Olympics.
Literally, again.
That didn't happen.
I'm not. Listen, for one second. I'm so sorry. I'm not. Like, I don't want men playing in women's sports. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not happening on a global scale. It's not
Where are you calling me from?
Detroit, Michigan. Does that matter?
Detroit? Well, I know. You sound like you're on another planet.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of noise in my background. I apologize.
Yeah, well, a lot of noise in the background, and your brain's not working either. Oh, my goodness. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. The show's flying by. We're hot in Detroit, people. We're hot in Detroit. Oh, boy. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number, 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top and be right back.
That didn't happen? Again, you can look at the actual numbers on that. Like, they have these numbers, like, posted on the internet. Who's they? And look at who's.
Hey, it's Brian. I'm going to put you on hold. Hold on. All right. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold. See, it's gonna be a couple minutes. I'm gonna put you on hold. Hold on. Okay, are you there, Steve? Are you there? Yep, we're here. Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold. It's gonna be a couple minutes. I gotta go to Scott when we come back. Then after Scott, I'll go to Steve. Hold on. Okay, so 49. All right, stand by, everyone. We got 1 minute, and then we're back. Well, you got to give a break to someone in Detroit. They may not know what's going on. There's no electricity or anything in most of Detroit, so they may not have access to the internet and things. If you're on hold, hang in there. Very busy board of calls, but we've got a couple things we got to take care of. 30 seconds. Ten. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And on the line, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Brian.
You know, I got to tell you, this is, what you're offering right now is amazing. Now, those that are new to the show, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, he joins us each year when the weather starts getting hot in Florida with all that heat and humidity. And he's going to talk to you about Radiant Barrier, which will cool off your entire home, save you big money on your electric bill. And when we last spoke, you were offering a great deal to our listeners. So Scott, if you could tell people what Radiant Barrier does and that special you're offering to our listeners, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Radiant Barrier basically is like putting a shade tree over your whole house. We put a reflective aluminum foil insulation that's 26 inches wide, so it goes on the bottom of the rafters in your home. It's stapled right to the bottom. And what happens is the sun's rays hit your roof, heat your roof up. Your roof gets hot, and it emits a radiant heat wave down onto your insulation in your attic, making your insulation hot. And then it's just a matter of hours, it burns through the insulation, because insulation only slows down heat gain. It doesn't stop it, right? And then it pours into the house. So when you put the Radiant Barrier up, it reflects all that energy back out. Your insulation doesn't really get hot. Your attic lowers in temperature about 30 to 40 degrees, and the end result is your house is like 10 or 15 degrees cooler if you don't even run the air.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
People don't have air conditioning in their garages, and we put it over the garage too, as part of the package. And the garage is 10 or 15 degrees cooler, and it's nice and comfortable to be out there, even on the hottest days.
And also, so many people here in Florida. There's that one room in your house. It's like a sauna. That's gone. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that hot room anymore.
Because you get, sometimes the sun hits the east side of the house, and that the upper room over there that gets hot, whereas it travels.
Yep.
Along the south side, the whole south side of the house is real hot. Just depends how your house is set up, but it evens it out. If you have to go up in your attic, it's cooler in your attic than it is outside generally.
In fact, yeah, in the Radiant,
it may be as hot as it is outside, but it's not like 140 degrees, 120 degrees anymore. It's more like 90, 95.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 on the worst day.
And the Radiant Barrier works. I've talked to so many of our listeners over the years that are so excited, and it lowers your electric bill for the rest of the time you live in the house, because once it's in, it's in. So it's the savings that keeps on giving. And you're offering a special to our listeners in the month of March. Can you tell us what that is?
I am. If you do the Radiant Barrier with the insulation right now together, you can save 39 cents a square foot off the Radiant Barrier and 19 cents a foot off the insulation. So that's $1 a square foot for each. These are prices I had 10 years ago when I went into business, because I made my workers more efficient, and we went to 26-inch rolls, which made us a lot more efficient and did a much better job.
Well, listen,
I've been able to really improve the speed and efficiency of the business. Houses that would take us 2 or 3 days to do are now done in like a morning, maybe 4 to 6 hours.
So he's saving time. He's saving time on the labor cost of the installation, and he's passing that savings on to you. So call or text Scott from Cut My Kilowatts on his cell phone. It's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. We'll talk later in the week.
Hey, thanks, Brian. God bless. And what a great address from the president last night.
No doubt. All right. Schmaga Strong was the best. All right, take care, Scott. Good talking to you. All right, and okay, Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Let me just run. If you're on hold, stand by. I watched that speech this morning right before the show. I was crying my eyes out.
I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it in my life. If there's ever a question as to whether God sent Donald Trump to save the United States of America last night, should have settled any doubt about that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and not only that, Steve, with that speech last night, It was the speech the country needed. And President Trump said right in the beginning, America's back. And I was talking before you joined us in the last hour. I don't know how much people appreciate the fact that we almost lost our country with between the open border invasion and the wokesters that were destroying American culture. That if Donald Trump had not been saved by the Lord Jesus above and Butler and become our president, our country, we wouldn't be able to be talking like we're talking right now if somebody else won.
There's no question of that. And we owe him an unbelievable debt of gratitude, I got to tell you. Even the only one thing could have been better is they should have had a permanent close-up shot in the corner of the screen featuring Nancy Pelosi's face the whole time.
No.
Because it was the high. For me, it was the high point of the evening.
It's not that would have turned it into a this is an old reference. If anybody's an old time listener of the Steve Kane Show, that would have turned it into a Herschel Gordon Lewis film. Remember Herschel Gordon Lewis? Oh my goodness!
I sure do.
Oh my goodness!
The King of Horror.
You know, my favorite band named themselves after one of his movies, so I think about him all the time because I listen to their music a lot. Yeah. All right.
Which one?
My favorite band. I probably shouldn't tell this because it's really kind of girls' music, but the 10,000 Maniacs, and Herschel Gordon Lewis had a movie called 1,000 Maniacs. But so the 10,000 Maniacs named themselves after Herschel's movie 1,000 Maniacs about the Confederate soldiers.
Getting back to the matter at hand, I don't think the Democrats are ever going to recover from this. I just don't think they can. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
You know, we have very smart listeners in this audience. Okay, we have very intelligent people that listen to this program, and one of our callers picked up on something that I didn't, and I haven't heard any of the pundits do it. You know, when the Democrats did not stand and support that poor little baby, the 13-year-old kid who survived brain cancer that Trump made a Secret Service agent last night, the camera was focused in on Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And I didn't understand why they put the camera on her, and one of our callers explained it earlier. She's a cancer survivor. So they just assumed that even Debbie Wasserman Schultz would show a reaction for a fellow cancer survivor, and she just sit there and huffed and puffed. Just like it was anything else. She couldn't even stand for a cancer survivor when she's one herself. It's insane.
It just looks so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Dodged
the bullet again.
How do you think they'll process that today? Do you think the day after they'll say, okay, we messed up last night and try to act like...
I don't know. I don't think they have it in them. After what I saw last night, I don't think they have it in them to even be aware of the trouble they're in. They're just too deep in what is it we used to say? Proving once again that denial is not just the river in Egypt.
Yeah.
They're in deep denial.
I've watched every speech Trump has given almost. I can't say I've seen every one, but I've seen over 95% of his speeches over the last 10 years. Okay? Without a doubt. And not only was that his best ever, that was the best presidential speech I've ever seen. I've never seen a presidential speech like that where I was crying. From the point that when he showed the little boy that he made a Secret Service agent, the brain cancer survivor, and I finally stopped tearing up. And then he showed the wife and daughter of Corey, the firefighter, who sacrificed his own life and took a bullet for the two of them. And then I started bawling again. I'm teary-eyed right now thinking about it.
Unreal.
Mm-hmm. You want to take some calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, now be prepared.
I really would like to. I can't believe that any Democrats are going to want to show their face on the air.
No, we've heard from them all morning. I've been hearing from Democrats since 6 a.m., Steve. All of them have been in different stages of delusion, anger. It's been very bizarre.
I had a major scene with my sister, the one who lives in California.
Yeah.
The land of the fruits and nuts. And she is, I'm so upset. This whole election thing has destroyed my two closest relationships within my family. And it's just breaking my heart again. Between my wonderful Jennifer and How they went so wrong?
You know, it's so interesting about families because I don't really talk about politics to my. I went to a Trump rally, and a sister of mine was at the Trump rally that I had never met, and she's MAGA. I never met her before. My sister. I have a lot of relatives that I've not met, and I don't want to get sidetracked into why I never met my sister. But she's MAGA, and I've never talked about politics to my family, aunts, uncles, and cousins and stuff, and they're all MAGA. I got together last year with some friends of mine that I've been friends with for 40 years, since I was a teenager. Remember, I went to that Star Trek set last year?
Yeah.
And I got together with friends I had not seen for 35 or 40 years, and they were all MAGA. And all we had that connected us was our love of Star Trek, and they were all MAGA. And I'm really sad for you. You know, my daughter, who lives in Los Angeles, she's MAGA strong out there. They haven't got, the pod people haven't gotten to her yet. So
you're lucky.
You know, but I talk to her every day, so maybe that helps.
I mean, my daughter won't even pick up the phone.
Really?
When she sees me on the caller ID. From the day what was it? The day.
It's awful.
I think it was the day of one of his big primary wins.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and let me tell you something. Is you know, with that daughter has stood by you through all kinds of things, and you've stood by her. But even like marriages and divorces, that didn't sever it. But you vote for Trump, and she won't talk to you anymore. That's really sad.
I won't take my calls.
Well, use somebody else's phone.
We never had one. Well, it doesn't help.
She hangs up.
She's very stubborn. She's very stubborn.
Oh, my goodness. All right. All right, listen, if you're on hold, hang in there. Let's take our first break of the third hour, all right? I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, you there? Oh, hold on. Steve, you there? Steve. Oh, Steve, hold on. I'll try him. Steve, you there? Nope, try there. Steve. All right. We are back, and I've lost Steve, but we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'll try Steve one time, and then we'll get him at the bottom. Steve, are you back with us? All right, we lost Steve, but that's okay. Maybe his long-lost liberal daughter has called him and forgiven him for supporting Trump. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Tony, coming from Detroit. How are you?
We're getting a lot of calls from Detroit today.
I know, but I'm not one of them. I'm just a first-time caller. I've listened to you for over a year. My brother's named Brian, by the way.
Oh. All right.
Okay,
So what?
But however, I'm just actually calling. I watched it last night. Trump was great. I enjoyed everything. I've been a Trump supporter, and I've actually met Don Jr. too. But I've been a Trump supporter since 2016. Even though I'm in a blue state where it's predominantly liberal here. However, I just wanted to point out real quick to say that, remember in Terminator you had John Connor? Well,
yes.
Trump is our John Connor.
Yes.
This is John Connor.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And yeah, he's our John Connor. So I was so pumped up, Brian, just listening to Trump, and he touched on a lot of points. Everything that he said, common sense, policy, common sense, right? As well as logic. So we are looking good. We are in a great position right now.
Well, if President, I love the Terminator. If President Trump is John Connor, who's Reese?
Right.
And who's the Terminator? Reese came. Reese.
That was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Reese is Michael Biehn. He came back in time to save John Connor. So.
That is correct.
Yeah. So who's Reese?
Yeah. It's a question. It can't be.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe J.D. Vance. We'll make J.D. Vance Reese, I guess, because I don't know.
Sure.
All right. Take care. I appreciate. I love a good Terminator reference. That's a good one. All right, Steve, you with us? I don't know. I keep losing Steve here, but you with us, Steve? All right. I'll put Steve back there, and then we'll go here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, it's Pastor Trevor over in Vero Beach, Florida. How are you?
All right. What's up?
Listen, I was so touched by last night's speech. My wife and I watched it after we put the kids to bed. And I know you know a little bit of our story, being foster parents, and we've adopted 4 of our foster children. And, I don't think it's gotten mentioned too much, but Melania brought a young girl who's now getting her degree in teaching. And part of her Be Best campaign and fostering the future, sometimes people don't know this, but what she started in 2020 got to like the Board of Governors. DeSantis helped with the foster program in Florida. And, I was just, the Republicans standing up to clap for all the other special guests that were brought in.
Yeah.
But to see people to sit down and not acknowledge, such children like those in foster care who, no fault of their own, just in an unsafe home.
Yeah,
but,
and it's a tough
it
life.
brought tears to my wife, and
it's a tough life.
It brought tears to our eyes. I was so grateful to see foster care, being represented there, just because I have a personal.
Well, the liberals weren't.
And then,
the thing about foster care, the liberals don't like is because it's an alternative to abortion, and they don't like foster care. They don't like adoption. They just like abortion.
Yeah.
Sad.
And then for him to speak for 99 minutes, I can't wait to tell my congregation. And if you don't listen to 99 minutes, I'm sure you can handle a 30-minute sermon. So,
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Just thought I'd share that. But
I appreciate
it. Was very touching, and I'm so glad to see foster care represented there. So.
Yeah, you're not going to talk. Are you going to talk? You're not. Are you going to incorporate what you saw into the sermon?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. All right,
100%.
Pastor. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, Pastor Trevor. What's the name of your church in Vero, just in case some MAGA people want to stop in?
Yes. Hey, it's Morning Star Church. Morning Star Church in Vero Beach, Florida.
All right, and I know Pastor Trevor. I've known Pastor Trevor before he was a pastor. Okay, I've known him for a long time. Mm-hmm. So he's a friend of mine, and he comes highly recommended. Morning Star in Vero.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, Pastor Trevor. All right, take care, Pastor.
Find us online.
All right, take care. Okay, guys, Google it. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you? How are you today? Again, Brian, to reiterate, that was a remarkable speech. And when you think that it was told that Trump really didn't do any practice sessions to deliver that speech, he was just basically came in and gave it, and it was remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
That point, the highlight. It's really just an emotional speech. But when that little boy was made an honorary member of the Secret Service, the way his face lit up and the joy he had, that wasn't an 80-20 moment. That should have been a 100-0 moment where everybody there should have felt that joy and stood up and applauded and make him feel just special.
And you know that.
See these curmudgeons.
Yeah, go ahead.
These curmudgeons sitting on their hands or the scowls on their face. They can't even get up for a little boy who's having the moment of his life, something he'll never forget, and they can't even share in the joy in that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what is it with this?
They're sick, and you know he was given that honor by the Secret Service agent who's the director, but the man who saved the president's life in Butler. And I have him on my living room wall because we have that picture of Trump getting up with him is on our wall in my living room. And what a you know, my wife gave me a Valentine's Day card that has that picture on it. And it's instead of blood, it's hearts. You know, they changed it up. It's a very nice Valentine's Day card. But you know, what that guy, when he hugged the Secret Service director that saved the president's life. I mean, that was I lost it then when he gave him that hug. I lost it.
I mean, what is it with these immigrants? They can't even share a wonderful moment for a little boy
they're disturbed.
Who's there with his father.
They're emotionally disturbed.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
You know, the caller that called in the last hour who said they put the camera on Debbie Wasserman Schultz because she's a cancer survivor, and they assumed that there would be a positive reaction, and she sat there on her hands, ticked off. What's going through her mind? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm a cancer survivor too,
and
I'm telling you, you should feel a little boy like that. I mean, what a smile, what a moment. How could you not? How could you not want to share?
And you know what?
In that?
And he may not be out of the woods yet, okay? And for them not to give him the support is I've never seen people and he's a black child too. They don't, you know, they can't even give that's you know. But
well, I'm curious what Stephen A. Smith is going to say about that moment too, because he's you know. That moment, it just resonated, and again, that wasn't 80-20. That should have been unanimous, 100-0.
Indeed.
Sharing the joy of this little boy and his father. What a nice.
Well, that's you know, that's the thing. There were a handful of moments like that unite us.
Yes.
You know, Jocelyn, who was raped and murdered, right? You know, the cancer survivor.
That wildlife park named in her honor for her daughter.
The teenager whose father died and Trump got him in the West Point. How would you be against any of these beautiful things? And there's, you know, or a man who sacrificed his own life to take a bullet for his wife and his daughter. Who would be against that?
Yeah. Well, he connects. He's again the great communicator, but he connects to the people. If you don't feel that maybe mentally, you feel it in your heart, and if you don't, there's something wrong.
All right, I got to run.
Very emotional moment.
Thanks for the call. Great call. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. I can hear you. All right, are you there? All right, Steve. Okay, we're at the bottom break, so I'll bring you on before we come back. Okay, hold on. 30. Okay. All right, Steve, you there?
I am.
Okay, we got just over a
Can you
minute.
hear me?
I can hear you. Just over a minute. Yeah, I can hear you. So stand by. Everybody can hear you on YouTube. So I'm going to keep you on. We'll be on in a minute and, well.
Can I talk loud?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I'm just not talking loud yet. 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. Oh, man. I am wiped out after that. It's been
It was pretty draining.
oh, my goodness. Emotionally draining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, we got 35 seconds. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I got Steve back with us. Hey, Steve.
I'm back, I hope.
Yeah, you're back. I was telling you during the break that I'm like emotionally drained from that speech. It was I'm overwhelming with emotion watching. And I'm not sure, it's a mix certainly of these very sympathetic people whose lives in some instances have been destroyed by Biden, like Jocelyn is dead. She was raped and murdered, a little girl, by Biden Kamala dreamers, right? I mean,
What did you think of the lady that gave the response?
The CIA
Lady
operative?
from Michigan.
The CIA operative?
Yeah.
I did not see it, but I've heard terrible things about it. That it was a disaster.
Well, I mean, it was a no-win situation. I almost felt bad for her. I think under the circumstances, which were horrendous, she did as well as you could expect, but it was brutal to watch. Brutal.
You know, I know I should have watched it, and I could have watched it, but I watched President Trump's speech this morning, and because I wanted to see it fresh, before the show. And I had time to watch hers, but I was on such a high from the president. I just couldn't get myself to listen to their pathetic response, especially from a CIA operative that they put in Congress. Who would vote for a CIA person? All right, so let me ask you: do you want to take some calls?
Who's the guy that called us yesterday that was laughing so hard?
Tom?
You know who I'm talking about?
Was it Tom?
I'm not sure if it was Tom.
I don't know.
There guy at Chronic that calls us all the time.
I think it might have been Tom.
Yeah. I wonder if he's laughing today.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Yesterday I stopped in to say hi to Dr. Appleton, from the laser way pain, doctor. Yep. And I'm not in pain and I didn't hurt myself. I just, I stopped by to say hi to him. I was in the area. And the first thing he said to me is, wow, you've lost weight. And I like to hear that because, yeah, I did. And thanks to Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I have reached my weight loss goal, which was 25 pounds, and I've lost all the weight in the part of my body that I wanted to lose it in, my stomach and my waist. And it feels great. I love it. I have more energy than I've had. I'm not hungry. I didn't do any exercising, zero exercising. And I thought that, when I met with Dr. Zuckerman at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, he said, how much weight do you want to lose? And I said, 25 pounds. And he says, well, when do you want to lose it by? And I said, well, we're leaving on our listener cruise on the 29th of March. And I said, I know that's not long. And I met with him on Inauguration Day, and I started Coastal Weight Loss Secret a week after that. And he said, that's no problem. You got it. You'll do it. I said, come on. 29 pounds by the 29th of March. Steve, almost a month out, I hit the 25 mark goal. So over about 3.5 weeks earlier than the date, I lost it without any medication, no exercise, not starving myself. It's absolutely amazing. So listen, call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Go in, talk to Dr. Zuckerman. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. The number is 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, you want to take some of these calls?
Yeah.
All right, let's.
We run into our friend from yesterday who was cackling so.
He might be passed out. I mean, they were doing some drinking. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Richie, how are you?
I haven't seen any.
List?
Great. Well, here's the deal, Steve. The last time I saw something like this was when I went to the movie theater on US 1 at Oakland Park Boulevard and saw The Exorcist. When the priest got the demonic forces out of Linda Blair. What we witnessed last night was the exorcism of the Democratic Party. The garbage that we've had to put up with for 4 years was basically torn out of our country's inners. I mean, they sat there and they were totally embarrassed. They could only personally attack with their little poster signs. They can't defend a policy, could they? No, you can't defend a policy because you tried to destroy the United States and you were called out by the greatest president of all time. Even Britt Hume, who's a mediocre on President Trump, said that was he took them apart, and they deserved it because they tried to disrupt the whole Congress in the beginning. These people are just losers, and I think he set them back 20 years. That speech last night just called them all out, and they couldn't.
Well, and part of the problem they have no leaders or even elder statesmen. Last night Newt Gingrich was there. I was surprised. So even if we have a great leader, even if we didn't, we've got some wise men from the past that we could bring back to give some advice. They got no one.
Well, and the other thing is that Trump has picked all his successors.
And they're kids. They're young.
Everybody that can pick up the mantle and run with it is already in place.
And they're young, so they'll be around for 40 years.
You know what his successors are? Reversals of Joe Biden and the whole bunch of them that are sitting there. I mean, he has actually turned everything around from those people that were sitting on the right side of the room, and he actually pointed at them all night long. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it.
And I'll tell you, did you guys catch when Trump left the stage? You probably didn't see this because they were probably talking over it. I watched the speech online, and when he left and he went to the Supreme Court justices and the generals, the mic was still on. And you could hear the Supreme Court justices and the generals and what they said to him. And it was really cool.
Great speech.
One of the Supreme Court justices, I can't remember which one of the older guys, he says, you're doing a great job getting the youth behind you. And the generals, there was such a sense of American pride with those generals and admirals when they shook hands with the president. It was amazing.
amazing? Nancy Pelosi's face.
The Crypt Keeper.
That disgusting
Yes, I
face.
agree. It was the high point of the evening for me. As I said, I wish they would have had a camera on Pelosi's face the whole time.
I could watch
Maybe
that
that
thing
told the
three
whole
times
story.
and not be bored. You know, I could watch it over again 3 times and not be bored, the whole thing. I mean, it was just a takedown. I just love the whole exorcism of the United States.
I like
and
that.
That's what I got to call it.
The exorcism of the. Yeah. All right. Take care. And we got some scary people over there. That you know, Linda Blair. You know, at least she's attractive back then. You know, they got Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They got Pelosi. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's take some more. It was Jay from Jersey you were talking about, Steve. By the way, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Steve. This is Mike from Houston. How are you guys this morning?
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I got to say, so last night was the first time I ever watched State of the Union from beginning to end. And I got to say, I thought it was magnificent. And that I feel that the Democrats' conduct last night during the State of the Union, emphasis on the word union was shameful. Typical Democratic divisiveness. Typical junior high school amateur theatrics. I mean, the childishness and the petulance was nothing short of shameful. What kind of twisted? I'm sorry, what?
I say, Trump led them right down the road.
Yep.
Like the Pied Piper.
Yeah, yep. It was a magnificent speech. It was, like I said, I'll be 65 in October, and I remembered Reagan's and he outdid even Reagan. It was magnificent.
Well, and you know what? It was 99 minutes, and it went by so fast.
Yes, I didn't want it to end.
No,
I did not want it to end. And what kind of twisted ideologue wouldn't applaud a child struggling to overcome cancer or declaring gangs like MS-13 foreign terror groups? Who doesn't applaud?
Democrats.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And if you looked at the close-ups of Schumer and Pelosi looks in really bad shape. But Schumer, Pelosi, and the others, Sanders especially, they look like.
Well, and I'll tell you, when President Trump, when he would go off I give you a great example when he went off teleprompter. When he introduced Bobby, and he said, "Oh, you would think the people on the other side would applaud for a Kennedy," and he said, how soon they forget Bobby, and you guys got to ask yourself, what would Senator Bobby Kennedy and President Kennedy have done? Would they have stood up and applauded for Bobby? Of course they would have. His dad and uncle, they were killed by the people that shot Trump and Butler, and they were killed for the same reasons they shot Trump and Butler. All right? They should have some respect.
I agree. Gone apparently, at least for the Democrats, are the days when you sat there politely, even if you didn't approve or agree with what your opponent was saying, you sat there politely and you clapped politely, maybe not effusively, but you.
Actually, it could have been worse. Actually, to tell you the truth, the cameraman saved them from a lot because I just kept yelling at my screen to get the camera shot back on Pelosi. But those were the high points of the show to me.
Steve, do you really want that? My TV's 4K, 80 inches. I don't need to see that again.
It would crack the screen.
Exactly.
But now here's my question, guys, and you might have already touched on it. I don't know. I'm actually on my morning drive, but I was going to ask. I only counted 5 of the Supreme Court justices in attendance, and to me notably absent was Thomas, I believe. And that kind of worries me because Thomas is a very strong supporter. So I'm just kind of wondering what your thoughts are.
Well, my guess is, we're up against the break, but my guess is Thomas is going to resign this term so Trump can pick someone to replace him. Yeah. That would be my guess.
That's what I'm thinking also, but I would have gone anyway if it was my last hurrah. I would have gone. But anyway, that's all I had to say, guys. God bless you all, and I'll hope to hear from you guys again soon.
All right, take care. We've had some great calls today. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take our last break of the day and be right back. Steve Kane Show. Hey, oh, thought we were going to miss you. Hold on, stand by. Steve, you with us?
Yes.
Okay, stand by. We're going to go to Youngerman. Stand by. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here, and we are going to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Wednesday morning edition of the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Yes, indeed. Gold is doing very well. Yesterday's gain of $23.70, closing at $2,916.70 the ounce, trading in a range of $28.81 all the way up to $29.28 yesterday. Silver up 26 cents at $31.93 the ounce. Platinum gaining $7 at $9.60, and palladium was up $14 at $9.32. Overnight, we've seen a trading range for gold of $2,901 all the way up to $29.24. And right now, gold trading at $28.98, actually pulling down, taking some profit taking here, down $18.70.
Wow.
Silver $32, up 7 cents. Platinum $9.62, up $2, and palladium $9.27 at minus $5. So the markets are kind of solidifying these gains that we've seen over the last few days.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, William Youngerman has been with us here on the Steve Kane Show for about 20 years, pretty close to. Just look up Hurricane Wilma, because I remember you came on with us right after Hurricane Wilma. So that's how long William Youngerman's been with us. And no matter where you're located, you can do your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Youngerman. He opens up at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, of course, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And if you can't stop in, because William Youngerman's shop is literally a beautiful museum of things you've never seen before and are miraculous and spectacular to look at. At 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, just east of US 1, Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. And find William Youngerman's address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right, you take care. And the phones, they are ringing off the hook, Steve. There's not an opening on the board. You back with us, Steve? All right.
I'm with you.
Okay, now before we go to the phones, you know, yesterday I saw these people having complete freakouts because of the stock market dropped a few hundred points.
Yep.
I'll tell you who wasn't freaking out. That's those of you that have taken my advice and called Jupiter Joe Thomas and got involved in annuities. Because with annuities, no matter how low the market goes, your money's safe. Your nest egg's safe. You're not risking your money. And you can generate income for the rest of your life. And that income is guaranteed for the rest of your life. So with Joe Thomas at annuities, there's no risk from stock market losses. No risk of losing your money at all. Guaranteed income for life. And, you know, you get a 10% bonus right out the gate. That's amazing. Give him a call. He's offering no charge consultations, okay? So give him a call no matter where you're located and take advantage of the no charge phone consultation with Joe Thomas. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, Steve. Jay from Jersey is who you were talking about yesterday that had the laughing thing. So we'll see. We got a full board of calls and 10 minutes to go. So let's see. Maybe he'll call in today, and maybe he will have
I don't think he's going to be so anxious to call in today. I don't think.
Why
We'll
not?
find out.
Well, he's very concerned about black people and that little boy that the Democrats wouldn't applaud for surviving cancer. Maybe he's upset at the Democrats for not supporting the African-American child who's a cancer survivor. Let's find out. We'll find out if he's there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from.
Oh, hey, JJ.
Good morning,
JJ,
Steve.
what's doing? Good morning.
Well, I just, yes, absolutely. It is, for me, it was polar opposites, this speech. It was I agree that it was the best speech ever. It was, to me, the MAGA, it's Morning Again in America versus the Democrat. There's nothing but tragedy anywhere in America. They just seem to have like a numbness to happiness. I looked out and saw all these damn paddles.
I like that.
And I thought that they were sort of, that they all forgot their balls at home. But it turns out it was their humanity, their common sense and their brains.
That's good. I hope they.
How can
I hope they took those paddles back to the ping pong tables.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know how anybody could not. I mean, what the Democrats showed last night to the American people and, quite frankly, the world was abnormal to the heights, abnormal behavior.
Yeah.
To the heights of insanity. To the heights of, insane. How can you not? All Trump did was tell the truth. And these people, to me, it's almost unfair having Trump speak in front of a bunch of Democrats, because all he has to do is show something or do something where normal people are going to at least clap, if not standing clap, and show respect for, like that 13-year-old DJ Daniel. You talk about crying. Holy Jesus. That kid had me crying, and I don't care.
Did you see? Did you see when he went up to the kid that Trump got into West Point and gave him the high five?
The whole thing,
man!
It was just so heartwarming, and for the emotion of it, for the humanity of it. How can a group of people, these Democrat politicians, are like they're evil? It's almost like they're not human. How can you not? And I understand.
I gotta tell you, I know it's demonic and all that. Is that they thought it's not just that they lost an election. They thought that they had hijacked the country and conquered America, and they've been completely rejected. And
they're an old vinyl 33 record that's just on repeat. And nobody's there to switch. Nobody's there to tell them, guys, this, I'm sorry, but it's not, it's doing nothing but skipping every single.
You got a lot of good little phrases. You a writer?
Well, I'm not.
No,
I have participated. I should say I have participated in writing.
Okay.
Some.
The music.
Music. Yes, I participated, but I never took. I was the owner of the record label. I don't take credit for any of that.
But you can't. But you got some good. You almost got some rhymes. You could almost be like the new Eminem. All right, it's good talking to you. All right, take care.
No.
Yeah, he's loaded, Steve. He's a record producer. Yeah, I know. That's where the money is in the record business. All right, let's go. All right, Steve, you want to take some more calls? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go on with it. Let's try to find Jake from Jersey.
Every line on the board is lit. We'll go through as many as we can before the end, but if we don't get to you, hang on. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6, and if you're on hold, you'll be first in line, all right? Okay, so let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bruce from Lake Worth.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
So hey, Steve. So all I can say is Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
Yeah. Except real.
That's really, this is real.
I'm a big fan of Billy Jack Goes to Washington. If you remember that, remember Billy Jack?
Yeah, I do.
They remade it. They remade it with Billy Jack. Yes. Billy Jack. I can't remember. It was. What was his name?
Tom Laughlin.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe I remember that.
Oh my goodness.
Those movies were not produced that well.
No.
Or directed that well. They were kind of like, B quality movies.
Yeah, but they were great.
They made their point,
and Walking Tall.
Yeah. And I got, I saw a minute of one of the most useless mounds of human flesh that has never worked a day in his life.
Bernie Sanders.
You know who we're talking about?
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Boyney, the millionaire,
And now all he talks about is the billionaires because now he's a millionaire. And what I want to know is, does he pay his fair share?
You know, I don't know. There was an FBI investigation into that college his wife worked at. Bernie Sanders, this is a true story. He lived with his parents. His first full-time job was at the age of 35 when he got elected. And he got 35. He got elected mayor. Then he finally moved out.
Yeah. He tried his hand at all kinds of different skills, but he had no skill at all.
So he joined he became he joined the organized crime ring known as the Democrat Party.
Exactly. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, nobody 125 years old ever got a Social Security check. Nobody 150 years old ever got a Social Security check."
Oh, you're good. Are you Larry David? Is this Larry David? You're good. You're good.
Everybody tells me I look like him, and I feel insulted.
The thing about that though is he's
understand why.
He's correct. No one that age has received the Social Security checks. They're dead. But someone's getting the money. Who? Where's the money going?
Getting them. And the thing is, he's in the government. He can go and probably go in there and look at the evidence, but of course he's not going to do that.
So who do people tell you look like? People say you look like Bernie Sanders or Larry David. All right, we lost the call just as it was getting it good. Do you know who Larry David's wife is married to now, Steve?
I knew that.
Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy's wife played Larry David's wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Are they still married?
Yes, they're still married. She was at the White House when he got sworn in the Oval Office. Yeah, yeah. She's probably not getting much acting work these days. All right, let's go for another one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Yes.
Mal, Brian, how you doing?
Oh, Rick Siderman, back from the dead.
Oh yeah. The speech was great yesterday, man. The Trump speech was yesterday. It was wonderful, man. It really exploded the left, man.
All right. How's Pamela doing? Yeah, okay. Good.
Doing wonderful.
Now, Rick Siderman was an old friend of Steve's. He hated me like the plague. And he was a conservative radio talk show host who had a speech impediment. And he talked like this, and he was on the air. And Phil Hendry used to do him, remember, Steve? And I remember Phil Hendry, he said, I couldn't believe somebody that sounded like that was on the radio. So I had to make it, I had to do it.
Poor Rick, blessed memory.
Oh my goodness. And he passed away, Steve, 16 years ago.
I remember it was. He was my best friend for crying.
Yeah, and he's in a cemetery next to a junkyard or something. Yeah. I mean, my goodness. Well, we are out of time for today. If you're on hold, as I say, hang in there. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Thank you so much, guys. We got a lot of great insight from our listeners today. Even the liberal ones who were unglued, unhinged, and just weird.
Jay from Jersey will get you tomorrow.
Yeah. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And, of course, God bless America, and God bless our favorite president, Donald Trump. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And we are out. We had a lot of technical problems today at the radio station. I mean, a lot. So it was a little, that's why you saw me into the phone so much. I was talking to Mike, the board op at the radio station. There was a lot of problems going on. But I think they got them all worked out. Everyone, again, if you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And if you're already subscribed, please like and share the video. That helps a lot. All right? I'll see you next time.